your own dream girl, there needs to be a level of high praise and confidence, because you have high praise and confidence for the person that you deem to be your dream girl. So you have to also have that level of attention and intention when it comes to yourself. I wanted to focus more on your mindset, how you feel about yourself, how you view yourself. When you think about your dream girl, you guys, your dream girl is going to be confident. I don't think there's anyone who would say, I have this dream girl or this dream guy, and they have really low self-esteem, or they don't show up in the room owning the room. They show up more low energy. You don't notice them. They don't have commanding energy. They don't have confident energy. They don't walk with their head up high. And that's probably one of the things that you admire most. And I would assume it's because maybe you either identify with the high self-esteem, or you very much wish you had that level of self-esteem. And I'm sorry, I just can't get over that. This is my fourth time recording. This is my fourth time recording this video. I'm bugging right now. Anyways, and so I want to work on more of the inner of becoming your own dream girl. Listen, becoming the best version of yourself requires focus on all of the elements of you, spiritually, emotionally, socially, mentally, physically. In one of the previous videos, your goal, our goal, is to master us. I am 42 years old. 42. Y'all see I had to pause. I'm really freaking 42. This is crazy. 42 years old. And at this point in my life, regardless of whatever that is, I need to be able to talk to you about me and be clear, have fairly clear, flushed out answers for you when you ask me about me. Becoming your own dream girl or even dream guy, it's going to require you to learn you, understand you, and genuinely see you and like you. Because what you like, what makes you happy, it shows up on your countenance. It shows up in your energy. It shows up in the way that you interact with others. And so learning yourself and getting to know all of the things that you love about yourself is very important to becoming your own dream girl. One of the people that I pointed out that would have been my dream girl at some point, probably even till this day, like even a Kelly Rowland, I guarantee that there are some insecurities that she may have because she's a human. Everyone has insecurities, but it's very clear that her focus is not her insecurities. Her focus is her strengths. Her focus is her self-confidence. Her focus is all of the things that she is, and not necessarily all of the things that she is not. Because I would like to believe more of us than not didn't get to bathe in consistent and constant praise of ourselves, constant adoration of us from others. I could imagine our parents or siblings or friends like us and tell us they like us and all of the things of that nature, right? But becoming your own dream girl, there needs to be a level of high praise and confidence, because you have high praise and confidence for the person that you deem to be your dream girl. So you have to also have that level of attention and intention when it comes to yourself. One of the things that I felt like would be an excellent thing for you and I to be consistent and clear about focusing on is what makes you. We all have those things that we're really good at and those qualities that more people than not would attribute to the better qualities of who we are, and it because they come so naturally. Again, going back to maybe somebody like Kelly Rowland, we know her to be an excellent singer, and actually she's actually a fashion icon. If you were to ask me, she's like stellar in the area of fashion, and she seems to show up and command the room, but not at the deficit of others. It's like she's mastered this beautiful balance of being very clear and excited and comfortable and confident in who she is. But I've never experienced it coming off as arrogant or taking away from others, if that makes sense. And so get into a space where you give yourself full confidence to fully show up and fully cheer on you and all of the things that are amazing about you is going to be a big deal when it comes to you really maximizing this journey of becoming your own dream girl. Really think about it. Like, really think about it. How often are you like telling yourself, like, you really killed that? You're really good at this. This is your thing. Like, how often are you talking to yourself in that way? So lovingly, so excitedly. How often are you like really praising yourself for these traits that you really have that come to you so naturally and actually that you actually use for good? You know what I mean? There's so many things that we can point out that we feel like we could do better, should do better, but don't. And those are things that we can consistently work on. But in between time, what are the things that are bringing highlights, excitement, peace, and joy to your day? It's focusing on the things that are great about you. That needs to be normal. Not just on your birthday, not just on holidays, or not just on maybe a special day that where you really are on like a high. I'm really on a high on Sundays. Sundays is just something in the air, and I literally am floating through the house on Sundays. Sundays are my day. I'm wearing all of the stuff. I'm cooking all of the food. I'm listening to the music. I'm drinking the drinks. I'm really enjoying all of my space, and it just, I love it. And what can I do to feel that way every other day of the week? I owe it to myself to have as many, not just not boring days, but have as many amazing days as possible. And what comes consistently to me every single day? Me. And focusing on these great qualities about me, they're going to boost my confidence, and I'm going to have so much confidence in one area that of course it's going to overflow to the next area of my life where I feel like I'm decent but I can be better. That confidence bubbles over to all of the other areas, and then you'll be able to grow and elevate in other areas because you're so overflowing with love and confidence and excitement in these areas of your life, if that makes sense. I think that would be an amazing thing for you to implement in your life and also teach others to do and to be with you. Instead of you waiting patiently for someone to see the greatness in you and to actually point out those amazing qualities in you, point them out for yourself, to yourself, regularly and out loud. And that's actually going to walk me right on into my next point, and that is taking care of yourself. Me taking care of myself. And one of the ways I take care of myself is I take pride in attracting and keeping people in my space that I know genuinely rocking with me. I want, need, desire, and deserve to be in the space of people who genuinely are rocking with me. And regardless of what we have going on, I know that you mean and you want the best for me. That is one of the things that I have chosen to give to myself as a gift. More times than not, let me actually say this. Let me speak about me. Growing up, I didn't have an intimate relationship with my mom, and it there were also things that I really wanted in that connection that I didn't get. And I unconsciously was choosing people whose relationships and interaction very much mimicked that of the relationship I have with my mom. Now, regardless of those interactions being good, bad, or whatever they were, it very much reflected that. And because this felt normal to me, the relationship I have with my mom, they felt normal to me. As I got older, you guys, I started to learn how to give myself permission to cut away relationships that were not healthy, that invited a lot of anxiety and stress and insecurity, and or just me, more times than not, me not being clear of how you truly felt about me. And keeping those kind of relationships around, there not being a level of intimacy or the ability for me to be fully transparent, to fully show up as the woman that I was at that time, in that place, in that space, and not feel like I had to wonder if that was going to be used against me later on if we fell out, or even if you were comfortable maybe talking about those kinds of things with others or with their mates, their spouses. Could I trust that you loved me enough to keep my personal, like those very intimate details that I only wanted you to know, if I could trust that you would do the same for me? And I eventually gave myself permission to cut away those relationships without having to offer explanation. Do you know how big of a transition and a turnaround my life took? Not like I wasn't deeming them haters or terrible friends, or I didn't even have to put a label on it. That didn't matter. The label didn't matter. It was completely and only about, do I feel fully safe in your presence? Can I show up as myself? Can I show up as all of me and not feel like me showing up is going to bite me in the butt later? Me showing up as myself in your presence, is it going to bite me in the butt later? Now, we all know that there is a time and a place for everything, and everyone doesn't get all of you. That I fully understand. But in my world, if I called you friend, you will always be able to show up as all of you. And I accept all of you. And we have all of those conversations. And I always wanted to make sure that you didn't feel icky, nasty, not comfortable, not seen, not heard, and not loved when we had certain conversations. But I didn't set that same standard when it came to others. I assumed that if I showed up as my best self, that you would in turn reflect the same to me. And that wasn't happening. That's also something I would do with some of the men that I dated. If I showed up as my best self and cared for you the very best way that I could, I hoped that either you would show up that way initially or you would grow you would reflect or reciprocate the same kind of love I was giving you. And as we know, that's not a thing. That's not a thing. And so, just like I held standards for myself and how I wanted to show up in the world, I started setting standards for those around me. And it didn't require me cussing them out or sending them long letters. It was just a simple, smooth pivot and moving away from that and moving in the direction of people where I felt loved and seen and cared for and supported and all of the things. And so when I am coming from a space of safety, then I show up more confident in the world. You know how when you like see two women, right? Let me actually be specific. There one day I was at a car wash, getting my car washed, hand washed. And I also was waiting for some food to be in that same parking lot. I ordered some food and I was waiting for my number to be called. And this girl got out of this truck and she was pregnant and she had on this long summer dress with her little sandals and her feet, her little, you know how your feet and your limbs swell up when we're pregnant sometimes. Her feet had swollen up, but she just looked so cared for. Like you could tell she put a lot of effort into her appearance and not in a superficial way, but in from I don't know how to, you can just tell that she took pride in whatever her regiment was in caring for herself head to toe. And she also came from a place where she was loved. And all I could think of was, you can look at her and tell she got a good man and he is taking really good care of her. Her energy was so calm and peaceful. It's almost like she glided across the parking lot, like the car wash parking lot. And I just was like, I don't know what kind of man she has, but my goal is to be in relationship with a man that I already show up cared for, but you can just see how much more cared for I am by my man. That is what I wanted. And I was like, what in the world is that? What is she experiencing? Because I don't think I've experienced that. And I am absolutely fully looking forward to experiencing that fully. It was so many years ago. I think my daughter was still in daycare and she's in college now. So that just lets you know how long ago that was. But me not knowing this girl, and I don't even know what mindset I was in, but when you are cared for and you have a standard for yourself, it shows up when you do. And obviously, she took care of herself. She took pride in taking care of herself. And I could imagine she felt very highly about herself, hence the reason for her standards. I could be reading more into it than it really was, but I would like to believe I'm as close to right as possible, as close to right as possible. But just imagine when you're showing up, when you've already taken the time to learn you, love on you, understand you, be excited, not just okay, but excited. Do you know what excited looks like? Like you're bubbling over and it's attractive. So if you're excited and bubbling over about you, everybody else about you too will be bubbling over and excited. Pair that with taking care of yourself. And one of the ways you take care of yourself is you are clear about keeping people in your space that see you, understand you, love you, and accept you and care for you the same way that you care for you. Can you imagine? Could you imagine what you can accomplish with just those three elements alone? That doesn't even factor in some of the other points that I want to touch on so badly, and I will soon enough. But just imagine you having so much going for yourself that you see, that you advertise on your own, and then everybody around you singing the same song about you. What the fuck? You not rich, you not famous, you ain't never been on the red carpet, but when you show up and when people see you, they love you. And if they don't love you, that's a they thing. But you creating a world where you it just is right. This is the world you've created. This isn't something that was handed to you. Some people, very few, I can imagine this is handed to them. But the other part is, if you were put in a family where you would receive a lot of praise, you still have to adopt that mindset about yourself. So you could have it, but if you don't see it, or you don't cultivate that gift of seeing you fully, it's not the same, right? And so just imagine the way your world shifts tremendously. And we haven't even really, in tonight's message, just going over the different talking points, none of this costed money. It didn't cost money. It took time and effort and energy in you thinking about you, focusing on you, dissecting you, understanding you, and accepting you. You guys. Even when I think I'm done, I'm not really done. I really could do this. I'm trying my best to keep it clean. I'm trying my best, but I could really do this for hours. The fact that we don't get enough messages, imagery around us that encourages us to really do it big for ourselves, about ourselves, is unacceptable. But don't worry about that, because here I am. We are going to go through this journey together. Our journey of being the best that we can be. Some days it's not exciting. Some days it's quite boring. Some days we definitely feel sad about who we are, and that is part of the journey. You have to feel those feelings. There's no such thing as avoiding being, I won't say negative, but being true about how you're feeling in that moment. The point is for you to feel those feelings and be completely honest about them, and then understand why you're feeling that way and what can I do in this moment? What could I give me in this moment to lift me up? Or who can I lean on? Or what could where can I go to get some sort of uplifting until I'm able to fully get back on my feet and get back moving? Because there's no such thing as you always staying high and never being human. That's what being human is. Life is a balance. And so all of these emotions come along with us. You just have to work through them and be transparent about them. Don't push them down and don't deny them, but also don't swim in the misery. Don't swim in the sadness. Don't swim in the depression, and don't swim in the disappointment. All of that stuff is fine. Write it out, think it out, flush it out, and understand how you got there, and tell yourself why or why not those feelings are true. You know what I mean? But you guys, I am just genuinely overjoyed about this week's video. Actually, I've really been gassed up about all of the videos, but it just does something to my soul. It does something to my soul to show up on camera, and I genuinely hope and pray that something in this video fills a hole in your soul or speaks to a void that you have not had someone speak into before, and affirm you. My goal is to affirm you. My goal is to let you know that you really are amazing in where you are, who you are, what you have, and where you're going in this very moment. It doesn't even matter what that moment looks like, but be clear about where you are and affirm yourself, and also tell yourself that you have a big journey ahead of you and it's time for you to get it moving. So I hope and pray that this was a great video for you, and I will see you next week, you guys. Mwah, mwah, mwah.